We've had lots of it this season, and there are plants in our gardens that just love that moisture. I am with Ken and Linda Correll, his wife, here in Donaldson, and we are going to learn some real secrets because this is a very immature garden with lots of large plants. Ken, thank you for letting us come, and I'm going to thank you also for some secrets you want to share with us about this garden.
Great. Really good to have you.
Tell me about it.
Well, we got started, we were looking for a way to cut down on the amount of grass that we cut, and we had some shaded areas that the roses just didn't do real well in. So we decided to try hostas and got involved with a local hosta society, and they shared with us a lot of things. We learned some of the plants by touring other gardens, plants that did well here, and have experimented on some other ones and discovered caladiums. So we've really had a lot of fun in the shade. We didn't have good dirt, so we had to do raised beds and really amend the soil, and I tried to get about a foot's depth of really good soil.
Ken, let's look behind us at the varieties you've chosen here under this tree.
Okay, a lot of these are varieties that were recommended by the local hosta club and were varieties that I've seen doing really well in other people's gardens. This one right over here with the deep blue that's rather large is one of the most popular blues. It's called Blue Angel. And right behind it is another variety that we're going to see in a smaller size that's called Victory, that looks like it's going to do really well, and the leaves get a beautiful yellow color in the autumn.
Well, now then, let's see, what is that beautiful blossom back there, that bloomscape?
Well, that's from one called Fried Bananas, and there's one next to it called Stained Glass, and those are both in a category that has real fragrant blooms, and I placed them there because that area gets more sun, and the Plantagenia, which those varieties are called, can take a lot more sun in addition to having the really fragrant blossoms.
Very fragrant. Ken, there's an elevation here. How did you prepare this bed?
Well, basically, I tried to till down about 4 inches into the native soil and loosen that as much as I could. And after I got that deep, I started running into larger roots. The dogwood and the maple that are here, both of them have pretty deep roots, but I didn't want to get much deeper. And then it was just like building a layer cake. I just brought in about 1/3, or I'd build a layer of sand and a layer of pine fines, which is ground up pine needles, or pine bark, I'm sorry. And then another layer of clay, and I just kept layering that. And once I got it to the depth I wanted, which was about a foot, then I started at the bottom with my small tiller and just gradually worked back and forth and mixed it all with the tiller. And it was really very easy, because if you start at the bottom, the dirt just falls downhill, and it's just real easy to mix. And when you get to the top, you're done. It's all mixed up.
And I see you have also protected this tree by not going further up.
Right, so the tree won't die of collar rot. I've tried to keep the soil around the base of the tree at the same level it was before I started.
Well, I know a few of your secrets, but I want to learn more. I've talked about Linda, and here she is. Linda, what do you do as far as all these gardens?
I just enjoy I smell the roses, and I enjoy them, and I do a little maintenance. When there's a weed, I pluck it, and when there's a leaf that I need for an arrangement, I put it in there.
And he doesn't say anything.
Oh, most of the time not.
Well, you have to be congenial with one another, and I can tell by just looking in your gardens that you all have a great partnership, and we appreciate it. Now, I'm looking at beauty right here.
That's a really nice yellow and green one. It's called Dance With Me. I've never seen one that has quite that yellow mixture in it. But they come in so many different flavors, if you will. Like this one right here is a new one called Ginsu Knife. Has the great variegation, but also that wonderful waviness on the edge of the leaf. Who would ever believe that they're even related?
This one, Dance With Me, and this
well, they're both pretty closely related.
Wow.
Then we can get into deeper blues.
This is beautiful.
And one thing that they shared with me, if you have deeper blues, they like more dense shade. They can't take very much sunlight at all. So that's why this is part of the deepest shade area I have, and I've planted a lot of my blues here.
And you know, I see different colors in the center, different colors on the outside. I see striping, I see more puckering, and then And with that in mind, the pucker and the leaf structure, what is this one right here?
This variety is called Deep Blue Sea, and it's one of the most puckered I've seen. It has a really shiny outer layer, and it's got great venation in early spring.
This is your secret, so shall we say. So I want to reach right here. This is what you call liners?
These are very young plants, and this is the way I get them in the mail. They come right through the mail. These are actually the product of a process called tissue culturing, where they actually almost like put a leaf in a blender and emulsify it, and then they can actually grow it in like a petri dish to a small plant by adding hormones and growth substances. And when they get it to this size, and this tray has about 96 plants in it, and then they ship it out to the consumer in trays like this. And
That's
then
what I was going to ask you. So when
there's
this came
12
in
plants
the mail,
right there in that one little.
So this whole tray came like this.
And then I simply go to the potting bench, and I'll take 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 or however, depending on what size they are, and I'll just place them in. This is called a chrysanthemum pot. It's just a wide pot that's fairly shallow. It's real easy to plant, and this particular pot has 6 plants of a new one called Atlantis, but these are real easy to do. And what I like about them is it fills out the pot really quickly because there's so many plants. They like the growth medium, which I can control what I put in here, and then I can pick plants based on their color and kind of, instead of putting all the plants of one color together, I can kind of vary them so it's easier to tell one from the other. And it's real easy to dig these up and move them. Another little secret that I had shared with me is when you plant these, if you take the bottom part of the pot and just cut it off,
half of it, or
the bottom half, and you can throw that away and slip this top part back on as a collar. When I water, all the water is trapped by the pot and goes right down to the roots, and it ends up wetting the ground below it, so it's easier to get these established using the pot. And a lot of people just throw the nursery container away, but you can use that top part of the pot, and then a few years down the road, once it gets established and it's happy where it is and you want to keep it there, you can simply take a knife and slit down one edge and just lift the pot out because there's no bottom.
Can you do that before you ever put it in the ground? Could you do that?
You could, sure.
Now, what is America's favorite hosta today?
Well, the American Hosta Society has taken polls, and this one called June has the beautiful variegation. It does really well in this area with the heat and humidity. It stands up well and looks good all the way to the end of the season. And it's spawned a lot of other kinds called Touch of Class, and there's many others that are out of that same lineage that just do really well in Middle Tennessee.
I can see why that would be, just from the different color variations. Well, it's obvious that you've known what you were doing, and to be such a new gardener, I commend you both on the accomplishments, to just look in here and know just some of the secrets you've shared with me today, how it's been possible. And I appreciate you all sharing your gardens with us today.
For inspiring garden tours, growing tips, and garden projects, visit our website at volunteergardener.org or on YouTube at the Volunteer Gardener channel, and like us on Facebook.